watching AYV Television.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News here on AYV Television, Channel 33 and Radio FM 101.6. I am Tholoma Sumah. Let's start with tonight's headlines.
National Public Procurement Authority launches price norm for procurement officers.
Take this opportunity to launch the National Public Procurement Authority price norm 4th quarter 2018.
Parliament approves 14 presidential nominees.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. The ayes have it.
And government inspects the construction of Toke Road.
Have any option because the benefits of this road are far greater than the cost of the road. This is a road that can attract private investment.
Now for the full news with Tholoma Sumah.
The Sierra Leone police have in a public notice stated that the police will now investigate former President Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma in Mekeni, Northern Sierra Leone. It could be recalled that former President Koroma was invited by CID in Freetown to answer to questions relating to incitement by the leadership of his party, All People's Congress. The police say they have also informed the Secretary General of the APC, Alhaji Ambassador Usman Fode Yensene. The reason for this change is not stated by the Sierra Leone police. The investigation is expected tomorrow, Wednesday, January 16, 2019. The National Procurement Authority has launched the price norm for procurement officers. The norm has details on pricing of different goods and services. The launch of the norm is to help procurement professionals to develop a uniform price system. Mohammed Jawad reports.
Take this opportunity to launch the National Public Procurement Authority price norm 4th quarter 2018. which will serve the first 3 months of 2019.
The price norm is a way of harmonizing the procurement pricing system. Government spends a huge sum of its annual budget on procurement. Most of the time, prices of the same goods differ from one ministry to another. The chief executive of NPPA spoke on the essence of the norm.
And the only way this country can move forward is to ensure we use what we have judiciously. If we don't, this country will not change. Don't think it's our children that will come and change this country for us. This is the opportunity we have. We've got a president that gives a free hand and allow everybody to do his or her job to the best of your ability to ensure you change our country.
But how will this norm affect the way procurement is done? Garnet King is a procurement officer at the Office of the Vice President.
Well, this day in line, this now in the guide we now use as a blueprint for whether they overprice, whether in price is higher. Because most of the goods and the goods them where they give the price, where they inside the price, not where they give prices for. I mean, that thing that would use frequently, so this will guide me.
This price norm will be reviewed to reflect current trend of prices in the market. But for now, this document will be used until March this year. Mohammed Jawad Nyale, AYV News, Freetown.
Parliament has approved 14 presidential nominees, including the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Richard Moigbe, Musa Mayo, and Mohamed Kane, to serve as board members at the Minerals Advisory Board, National Minerals Agency, and the National Youth Commission, respectively. Memuna Tubangwa was at Parliament and now reports.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Committee on Appointments and Public Service met last Friday, 11 January 2019, and interviewed the 14 presidential nominees. The acting leader of government business at the House of Parliament, Honorable Matthew S. Newman, moved that the 25th report of the first session of the Committee on Appointments and Public Service be adopted by the House and that the recommendation contained therein be approved.
Speaker, honorable members, the committee adjudged the following presidential nominees to be fit and qualified for their proposed appointment, and they are recommended to the House for approval. And one thing I will say on behalf of my colleagues, when we have nominees, people give good adjectives. I've not had anybody, irrespective of our political differences, say SO2, this is our nominee, we know this. We all praise them, we are glad, but when they get to their offices, they tend to make members of parliament their mates.
Admonishing the presidential nominees, members of parliament for constituency 003, Honorable Hindolo Gevao, said to members of the National Youth Commission to consider youth outside Freetown in their activities.
Those appointed to the Youth Commission, I just want to bring to your attention that we have youth in other parts of Sierra Leone. We have youth in constituency 003. We want your activities to transcend Freetown, to transcend Bo, to transcend McKinney. We want to see your presence in all parts of Sierra Leone. Youth problems are not only in Freetown. We want to see a proper decentralization of the Youth Commission that cuts across all of our constituencies.
The approved board members of the National Youth Commission vowed to induct change in the lives of youth in the country.
Primary focus will be women, especially women on wheelchairs. As you can see, we are tired of seeing our women out there in the streets with their children, and there are no proper institutions for people to access buildings, especially buildings like this. So we think if we could create accessibility, that people living with wheelchairs, especially women with wheelchairs, could be able to access buildings, to access institutions, that they could be in the position to contribute to nation building. I think that would be a great step forward.
Other nominees were approved to serve in the National Commission for Social Action, the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Tertiary Education Commission, Sierra Leone Port Authority, and the Police Council. Memunatu Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
A team of senior government officials from the Ministry of Finance, Works and Public Assets, Sierra Leone Roads Authority and other key MDs have held a conducted tour on the remaining 8 kilometers on number 2 Toke Road along the Western Rural District. This is a project that had commenced since 2009 but was not completed due to some financial reasons. Samuel Koma has the details.
Have any option because the benefits of this road are far greater than the cost of the road. This is a road that can attract private investment. This is a road that can reduce the price of sand sold out in Freetown. It can reduce the cost of building, construction in Freetown. There are several benefits. It improves private investments, it boosts tourism, and when it boosts tourism, it brings revenue to government, it creates jobs for our boys. Several benefits we expect to get from the construction of this road. So we don't have an option, we have to do by any means.
He is Jacob Jusu Safa, Minister of Finance, emphasizing the essence to connect Toke and other communities in the far west of the capital. The construction of the 8-kilometer number 2 Toke Road is scheduled to commence in February and hopes to be completed by 2020, even though no actual cost has been tagged to it. Raymond D'Souza George is the Minister of Works and Public Assets.
Yes, of course. If you come along with we, you see all the structures, then we already don't dey in place, and it will be willful, wasteful other ones. Then we abandon them, because now what we get for do now for continue for build on them ones, then they see how quickly we can complete the entire project. And this is the reason we make we come now the road this morning.
Development is gradually taking center stage within the Toke number 2 axis. But how committed is Sierra Leone Roads Authority in all of this? Engineer Amara Kane is the Director General, Sierra Leone Roads Authority.
I don't even want to see such a road just outside the city. So we've been talking to the Minister of Finance, and today you can see that the high-power delegation is here. It's because of our commitment that they are all here, and we've spoken with HE, he's giving us his blessing.
CSC Construction Company is the project contractor. Mohammed Saw, who is the project manager, commended government for making this project a priority, reaffirming their commitment.
Expectations have been the same. You know, we have been on this project since 2009. So we have been patient a long time. Ebola was here. We have so many issues that came along the project. So our expectation has always been high. We believe that this government are willing to do the road. They are committed to complete the road, and the contractor is on the same position, is to really finalize this road and to hand over. So our expectation is high, and we are happy with today's visit. We're happy that it will go very well.
This is a project that had long commenced during the days of late President Ahmed Tijan Kabar, but the credit is said to be clinched by President Bio. Samuel Koroma, AYV News, Freetown.
The Sierra Leone Correctional Services has launched the National Inmate Identity Management System with funds from OSIWA implemented by Fix Solution. The management system will help harmonize data across the judicial system. Bokari Matia has more.
I now have the honor to formally launch the National Inmate Identification and System project. Thank you all for your undivided attention.
That was the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, Lahai Lawrence Lima, doing the official launch of the National Inmates Identity Management System. Data collected from this system will be used to report against the indicators in the Sustainable Development Goal. And when fully integrated, NIMS will build organization central management capacity, rehabilitate inmates, and prevent anomalies that occurred in the past.
The performance contract for the Sierra Leone Correctional Service and the governance, justice and security sector over the years have motivated us as an institution to improve on our service delivery by using strategic innovations, automation and information technology. The International Corrections and Prisons Association, ICPA, of which the Sierra Leone Correctional Service is a member, held an extraordinary meeting in Barcelona, Catalonia. The theme for this conference was Technology in Corrections, Challenges for the Future. The notion was to encourage correctional and prison services to partner with the private sector and corporate agencies to introduce technology in the management of prisons and correctional centers.
With cost effectiveness and overcrowding as parts of the ever-growing concern of the Sierra Leone Correctional Services, Fix Solution, a software design manufacturer, is creating a better prison experience through technology.
Look at the process as a unified one. Reports or police, an incident is reported to the police, investigations are carried out, prosecutions by the Attorney General's office and the police as well, adjudication by the court. There is a decision box there to decide whether the person is found wanted or not.
Technology all over the world is transforming prison system. This will help prepare inmates more effectively for life after incarceration. Bokari Matia, AYV News, Freetown.
In a bid to mitigate climate change effects in the country, the Sierra Leone School Green Club, in collaboration with Society for Climate Change Communication, has launched the Climate Change Mitigation Capacity Building for schools in the Western Rural District. This was also followed by a workshop to educate pupils on their role to mitigating climate change. Ronald J. Morovia has more on the story.
Climate change is becoming a major concern in the world, with global temperature and sea level rising, a change in weather pattern, and many other phenomena. The launching of the Climate Change Mitigation Capacity Building in schools, according to the program manager of the Sierra Leone School Green Club, that in context is to help pupils know their role in mitigating climate change.
We are here responding to a changing climate, and it requires what? Comprehensive integrated strategies that simultaneously address social, economic, and environmental consequences to raise awareness. And not only awareness, we are going to take prompt action. And we are now involving schools and communities. We do believe that education is a very powerful liberation tool. As pupils and students, you can educate a whole lot of people.
Alhassan says the founder and president of the Sierra Leone School Green Club. He explained the work of the club.
We've engaged in community sensitization
in the Western Rural District. Our mission is we seek to educate the public to create awareness on environmental issues. We seek to lobby for more political will for a stable climate that benefits all mankind. Because we thoroughly feel to start this organization as climate change is all over the world, and we thoroughly feel that Sierra Leone should be part of it in mitigating climate change.
The engagement, which hopes to improve environmental governance in schools, targeted about 10 schools within the Western Rural District, looking at climate change, global warming, and pollution.
Pekin Business has donated over 10 modern fishing equipment to fishermen at the Hamilton village in Freetown, with the theme, "Don't give me the fish, give me the tools to fish." The chairman of Pekin Business, Dr. Adonis Aboud, said this is to see that every young person in the community has something to do. He promised to help them with more fishing equipment to boost fishing activities in that part of the country. Sheikh Mohammed Silla has more.
Dr. Adonis Abu called on them to put in more effort in their daily fishing activities. He used the opportunity to also call on the government to consider the youth of Hamilton Village in any development project, as the youth in this community are ready to work and change their status in society.
They go get their bread out of this. They go fishing, get some fish, they sell the fish, they get bread. The next project I have in mind is a tire repair center. For young people, this is the main problem here. Yes, you see, when you help the young people, you're helping also the kids. They have their children as well. They should do a lot more than what they are doing. And I am fully with them, but there is a lot to be done for the youth. If we neglect them, we are condemning everybody. It's already busy on the healthcare part, on the community development part, on the educational part. We are quite loaded, but anytime I can devote for this community, this is my community, I'm ready to do it.
The beneficiaries expressed their appreciation to Dr. Adonis Abu and promised to use the equipment for the intended purpose.
It can be because I don't be the expect then I feel say this a long way I don't get it go change my life. Very good for waiting to change your life. And I'm very, very happy with this program where it can be with this evening. Very, very happy. I tell the coordinator, thank you very, very much.
Yes, I feel happy because any kind of way in life there is a purpose. So like a draw we do, we are fortunate for winner. For that now one, then I will appreciate the part very much for we do the kind thing they are. For help for develop the community there too. I will talk to the one that will all go in the draw with them will be fortunate for winner. So for a better luck next time.
Sheikh Mohammed Silla, AYV News, Freetown.
Residents in the Freetown municipality, especially those who attend court either as complainants or defendants, have called on the Chief Justice, Honorable Desmond Babatunde Edwards, to revisit his memo that bans traders selling food and drinks within the court area. This, according to them, is because they cannot afford the high prices of food items sold in the court canteen. Muhammad Lamin Banya has more.
Following the ban on trading within the premises of the Law Court building in Freetown, some members of the public says this decision by the Chief Justice, Honorable Desmond Babatunde Edwards, will affect those of them who cannot afford to buy expensive food or drinks from the canteen.
For put 25-30,000 buy 1 grain plate, so no food people and they inside Pademba wood. Where then they come, will not get no side for go buy for them chop pass outside here, they will care and go inside for them they eat. So there would they beg the Chief Justice, it's sorry for we, they're sorry for people they will not get.
Chief Justice right for make the kind of money because now based upon the complaint we don't get, you understand. But we have say it's too harsh, you understand. Let do a mildly, you understand. Let do a small, let yourself give concession to we because that person will get that canteen na Sierra Leonean. Then we say self na Sierra Leonean in the survive and then let us say they survive on the other side. That's what we feel.
Reacting to the public outcry, spokesperson of the Sierra Leone Judiciary, Moses Lamin Camara, said the ban on the traders selling around the court building is in order to create more office space for judges. He added that They also want to make the environment safer for everyone attending the court, including the inmates, complainants, and other people coming to the court on a daily basis.
The Honorable Chief Justice issued a memo on the 11th of January 2019 stating that all those who are engaging in commercial activities, more especially the selling and buying of foodstuff within the court premises, the main court building, must stop come the 14th of January 2019. And one of the places that has been occupied by business people is located under the administrative building, the building that we have at the extreme end. And we discovered that place can be used as office, and we discovered so other many places that will be used as courtroom, that will be used as office.
The Law Court building, which is located in the heart of Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone, was built by the Portuguese to attract people committing crimes. However, most people believe that the place must be kept quiet and not be turned into a marketplace. Mohamed Lamin Banya, AYV News, Freetown.
The Minister of Justice, Dr. Priscilla Swart, has pleaded with peoples in Bow District to show commitment and claim ownership of their learning ability in order to make the free quality education program a successful one. She made this plea in Bow during the launch of the free education teaching and learning materials. Judge Philip Jambawai has more on the story.
Council Hall at Sewa Road waited for a very long time to host these brains and personalities. This one, according to many people, did not come as a surprise, as every face here is desperate for the achievement of the government's free quality education. This is the official district launching of the teaching and learning materials organized by both district council. But who are the beneficiaries?
Children in government and government-assisted schools. For primary schools, English, mathematics, science, and social studies. Junior secondary schools, English, mathematics, social studies, to civic education and sciences. And for senior secondary schools, English and mathematics. Let us be proud of this moment as Sierra Leoneans, and let us celebrate this moment with gratitude to our international partners. We have eliminated another impediment to learning.
The Minister of Justice pleaded to learners for their commitment.
You have made history as part of this project. Those of you starting now. But moving on, I want to plead with you to take responsibility over your learning. Take responsibility. That is the greatest asset that not only this government, but also your parents will derive by your participation in this project. It will not be successful. We will not go down in history as having done this well if you do not take the responsibility.
They show appreciation to UK Aid and DFID for their immense support in the country. George Philip Jambawai, AYV, Bow.
Now in business, some workers at the Pearl Hotel along Lumley Beach Road have raised concerns over the termination of their contract without any benefit from management. The aggrieved workers described the action of the management as unfair and disrespectful, as most of them have served for over a year. Pearl, which is one of the new edifices along Lumley Beach, has been closed to the public for over 1 week. Balu Sharif has the story.
According to some of the workers, the management did not give them prior notice about their decision to close down the business, and their laying off was not done the right way in accordance with the labor law.
Nobody not thief, nobody not do nothing, they just cut you off and say no to stop work. Problem, we the staff them, they don't not too much now. We don't they come for can check if they go open, we don't come 1, 2, 3, the same thing on the place still locked.
The third before we open. The third pass they not open. The fourth pass they're not open. Not until the 9th of January. And then calling our head office, Charlotte Street, 18 Charlotte Street, to Pafawaz. Say, you get meeting with me. Where we go? We just go put on our face, say, and go pay all my off Thursday the 10th, when I yesterday. Then we go meet on our head office, or we can appallia. So we mobilize, we go na head office, they refer we na PAL 11 o'clock. We carry 11 o'clock, my sister, we see there at say after 3, we go na the gates. Promotion, they say we go to Sinap there, say we need to come out there until they can't talk to we, because they're not going to put we from 11 to 3. Nobody not talk to me.
Responding to this concern from the workers, the owner of PAL Hotel, AYV'S, said the business has not been profitable since they started operation. He, however, assured that workers will receive their benefit. According to the senior labor officer at the Ministry of Labor, Senior Bokari, they are calculating the benefits of workers, which will be completed in a week.
The issue is very clear. What we've done today is to establish the fact that, of course, there is willingness on the side of management to pay them off. It has to do with a matter of redundancy. And as a responsible ministry, we are looking into the details and make sure we come up with the calculations to ensure that what is due is being paid to these workers. So that's what we are working on now. And within a week, I'm very sure that we'll come up with results to make sure we resolve this PAL issue.
Unemployment in the country is still very high, and with the closing down of PAL, over 60 young Sierra Leoneans are losing their job to join the millions who are still searching for work. Mbalu Sharif, AYV Business News, Freetown.
This is Primetime News here on AYV Television, Channel 33 and Radio FM 101.6. Stay tuned for more news from the provinces, the continent and the world. We will be back after this break.
The ball was out. Boy, the ball was out. The ball was out, boy.
Not now. I promised to top up EDSA today.
Stop complaining and use your AfriCell line to buy us EDSA.
My AfriCell line? AfriCell?
Oh yes! With your AfriCell line. To buy EDSA, simply dial *161# to access your AfriCell money account and choose bill payment. Then select EDSA recharge. Enter your meter number, enter the amount you want to pay, and then enter your AfriCell money PIN to confirm your transaction.
But how can I refill my AfriCell money account?
You can top up your AfriCell money account with no extra charges from any AfriCell outlet near you, or simply at any shop or bank where you see a sign that says AfriCell money available here. Buy EDSA now straight from your AfriCell money account at the cheapest cost ever. A price nobody dares to match.
AfriCell, Norway Network.
Welcome back to AYV Television, Channel 33 and Radio FM 101.6. We now join our team in Makeni for some updates from the region.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers and listeners. This is Primetime News coming to you live from our studios in Makeni, and I am your presenter, Elizabeth Momo. For top stories, many Sierra Leoneans that have diligently served their country seem to live a life that can better be described as horrible. Most retirees are finding it extremely difficult to live a decent life. An ex-military officer who sustained a gunshot that later led to the amputation of his hind limb is accusing the Ministry of Defense of being negligent over his current status. To know more on this story, let us now join our reporter Abbas Sisse.
Memories of the 11-year civil conflict in Sierra Leone continue to be fresh in the minds of many Sierra Leoneans, especially those who face harsh experience of that interregnum. Among the categories of people still living with such ugly experience include war wounded, amputees, rape victims, etc. Alpha Kamara is an amputee at Robuya village, an outskirt of Makeni. According to him, he was a military officer with Army number SLA 1816-7110 Private Kamara A, and he narrated his ordeal as an ex-soldier.
1991, they take me from the army, they go train me na Benguima. From Benguima, then we go sleep Canada. From there we go na Zimi. Now they go deploy me. So we did the war, we fought the war to 1996. Now they I get now they fire me with weapon. The rebel they fire me we go attack them. Now they fire me. We fall on ambush, they fire me. So I left in a bush. You know, you will get medical for me quick. Take the foot spoil. By the time I went to take me, came going at 34. The foot be non spoil now.
Alpha Kamara further explained that he fled into neighboring Guinea at a time when personnel of the Sierra Leone army were easy prey to ECOMOG soldiers, and according to him, he could not register during the disarmament process.
But from the time now, where I done well, then take me came go Lunge. From there, then pull Lunge. We be 3,200 soldiers. We then can put in a jail yard. January 6, and then in the morning, then we able to go launch the domot open. Now we all come out in a jail yard. From the time we come out in a jail yard, I dey inside Freetown for 2-3 weeks. Now they say for mopping up, then ECOMOG there. Any soldier where they hold and they kill. Bio where the war be no now, them don't call for disarmament for this. Me I don't know. By the time I wait me, they turn back now. Where I come, where I go report me say na cockery, they say I don't late.
I cannot be an order for the Sanko, Alpha Kamara mourned. I served the army at a young age in order to defend my country, and my leg was amputated trying to perform a national duty. He further explained.
Me, I no go turn again like for this and go start full lie. Me, na big number the country. This is my country. Me, I love me country. I love me people. Them. I be go for today for safeguard me people. Them.
Alpha Kamara pleads with the current government in order to rehabilitate his life as an ex-soldier.
If I can't get problem, may the government help me. May for me picking there, not on to bad people them. No, not on to thief man them. Do ya me picking there? They know you go school right now. You cannot get money for pay, although not free education, but you do small thing. I beg the government for me the government see to me your strain. May not say, may government not say, besides a soldier, the government not strong. Do ya me still me not soldier? You cannot die it. Do ya may not left me so. I beg the government.
There are several ex-military men across the country that are in a similar situation like Alpha Kamara. For AYV Primetime News in Makeni, I am Abbas Sisi reporting.
The leader and chairman of the opposition All People's Congress APC party will make an appearance at CID headquarters. The invitation of former President Komar came about due to a press release issued by the party executive last year concerning the Commission of Inquiry, and according to police, they deemed this release to be inciting. Well, AYV gauged the mood of the public in Makeni on his appearance tomorrow.
As you know, we are a peaceful party. Nobody know the old tick, nobody know the old banner, nobody know the old pancard. Now peaceful. But now, Daddy, some people are two fractions, they go left and expect Kuruma Tumara. One, the one they go left and expect Kuruma Tumara. Now, in people in the APC party, the other two people then, now the one they don't serve now this country, who don't do very well, only can expect Kuruma. Those are the people who they go left and Tumara with peaceful, serful citizens.
Yes, we ready for go tomorrow and accompany we on Daddy. For go here, what the if they treat we with respect, we ready for treat all man of this country with respect. Because the HE ex-president Dr. Anes Baikoma, if he don't work for these people, for the people of this country, and people that serve the nation, he even work with the current president when Amada Bio. He take us as young brother, he take us as small brother. If today, then they can't begin to make so. They don't want peace in this country. We as the youth of this country, we need peace. We need peaceful atmosphere in this country. So if they call the ex-president, we they come here tomorrow. Now any station or any place of law where they call her, we all they go there tomorrow with her and see what's in the outcome of the call.
Thank you, viewers and listeners. This has been Primetime News from the North, and I am Elizabeth Momo. Now back to our main studios in Freetown.
Thanks to Elizabeth Momo and the entire team in Makeni. Now on the continent, suspected militants have attacked a luxury hotel complex in Nairobi. Gunfire and blasts were heard at the compound in the Westlands district of the Kenyan capital, which houses the Dusit D2 hotel as well as offices. The Somalia-based militant group Al-Shabaab said it was behind the attack, but gave no details. 4 armed men entered the complex, eyewitnesses say.
People have been leaving the site, escorted by armed officers. Several people were led out covered in blood. The attack began at about 1500 local time. A woman working in a neighboring building told Reuters news agency, "I just started hearing gunshots and then started seeing people running away, raising their hands up, and some were entering the bank to hide for their lives. Explosions were heard and a plume of smoke rose above the compound with vehicles on fire in the car park." One police officer told the BBC, "Things are not good. People are dying. There are no details about casualties so far." Kenyan Police Chief Joseph Boynet told reporters, "Armed criminals are holding up in the hotel and specialist forces are currently flushing them out." Dusit D2 Hotel has 101 rooms located in the Westlands suburb, minutes from the capital's business district. It has its own spa and several restaurants. Kenya has seen a number of terror attacks in recent years, most notably in areas close to the Somali border and in the country's capital.
The International Criminal Court, ICC, in The Hague has acquitted Ivory Coast ex-president Laurent Gbagbo. He was charged with crimes against humanity in connection with violence following a disputed 2010 election that left 3,000 dead and 500,000 displaced. Laurent Gbagbo was captured in 2011 in a presidential palace bunker by UN and French-backed forces supporting his rival, Al-Hassan Ouattara.
The violence in Ivory Coast, the world's largest cocoa producer, came after Mr. Gbagbo refused to accept that he had lost a disputed election runoff to Mr. Ouattara in 2010. The 5 months of violence that followed were described as some of the most brutal clashes the country had ever seen. During the political standoff, there were bloody clashes and targeted killings in the south, and several hundreds were massacred in the western town of Dueku. Protesters said Mr. Gbagbo clinged to power by all means and charged him with 4 counts of crimes against humanity, murder, rape, and other forms of sexual violence, persecution, and other inhuman acts. He denied the charges, which he said were politically motivated. ICC judges ruled on Tuesday that he had no case to answer and ordered his immediate release. Prosecutors had failed to demonstrate the existence of a common plan to keep Mr. Gbagbo in power, which includes crimes against civilians or a policy to attack a civilian population, the ICC said. Presiding Judge Kunu Tafuza said the prosecution had also failed to demonstrate that public speeches by Gbagbo constituted ordering or including the alleged crimes. Prosecutors can appeal after the court files its decision in writing. Mr. Gbagbo's supporters whooped, cheered, and threw their fists in the air in the public gallery following the announcement.
The main office of Zimbabwe's opposition party, MDC, has been touched following protests sparked by the more than doubling of the fuel price. Several people have been killed and hundreds arrested following protests in the capital, Harare. Social media platforms have been blocked and businesses have been closed as police patrol the streets.
Access to WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter were restricted, but some people are using virtual private network to bypass the block. The government has blamed the opposition and political rights groups for Monday's violence. It is not clear why the opposition's headquarters would have been targeted. Security Minister Owen Nkubi confirmed there had been deaths, but did not give an exact death toll. He blamed opposition figures and political rights groups for the violence and said an investigation was underway. Zimbabwe's governing ZANU-PF party says its property has also been damaged. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is trying to revive Zimbabwe's struggling economy, said the fuel price rise was aimed at tackling shortages caused by an increase in fuel use and rampant illegal trading. Protesters accused the president of not understanding their situation. For a second day, residents in the suburb of Ipworth in the capital are back on the streets and businesses remain shut in the capital and Bulawayo, the BBC reports. Tear gas was also launched from a military helicopter at protesters who had put up barricades in the capital, the Associated Press agency reports. Witnesses also reported violence in the eastern city of Mutari, where people attacked passenger buses and destroyed some shops.
Those were our top stories from around the continent. We now join our team in London for more news around the world.
Thank you, Freetown. I am Alfred Jallo with the major international news, live from our studio in London. The U.S. administration is said to have asked the Pentagon to draw up options for military strikes against Iran. according to reports. The U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, including members of the National Security Council, have made a request after mortars launched by Iran-affiliated militants fell near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad and missiles fired near the U.S. consulate in Basra by unknown militants. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen has launched a campaign for the May 26 European Parliament election with an appeal to the Yellow Vest protest movement that has rattled the French government. British MPs are voting tonight on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal. Members of Parliament face a choice that will affect the UK for many years to come, deciding whether to approve a Brexit withdrawal agreement between the UK and the EU. The Brexit deal agreed by the UK and the EU ensures there is no cliff edge on March 29 when the UK leaves the EU by carrying on EU rules in a transition period to December 2020. So what does this mean for the UK? Some experts have referred to this vote as the most important vote in Parliament since the early years of the Second World War. The EU is the largest economy with 500 million consumers. The EU remains an important UK trade partner. Being a member of the EU allowed the UK to trade freely with 27 other countries. This is it for now. You've been watching International News with me, Alpha Jala, from London. Now let me hand you back to our team in Freetown.
Thanks to Alpha Jallo and the entire team in London. Now, news just coming in says the UK Prime Minister Theresa May has been defeated in her Brexit deal through 432 votes to 202 by MPs. Now in sports, ahead of the start of the Sierra Leone Premier League in the country, some Premier League clubs have started intensive training as the league is set to start on the 27th of January 2019. The Central Parade Football is set to play FC Cologne in a friendly match at the Siaka Stevens Stadium practicing field. Team manager of Central Parade Football Club, Fode Jallo, speaks on the preparation of his team ahead of the friendly match.
All other teams, we all know, say, the time very short. We just begin training exactly 8 days ago. We start physical training sessions on Monday last week. We will do for 3 days, and after that we engage in a series of friendly matches. The first one was Congo Contractors on Thursday. We will win 2-1, and then we draw with Malamento on Friday. Y2K 1-1, and Saturday we play to Recef, the old and new players. Monday we get physical. Tuesday this morning we play FC Johansen, we draw 2-2. Tomorrow morning we get FC Cologne, and in the evening we get FC Bello when I division 1 team now at Waterloo. Thursday, God willing, in the morning we get Eastern Tigers, and then hopefully we'll travel to Bo that day for go play Bo Rangers on Friday. Next week we want ensure say we go back now traditional home, the parade grounds, na central for reunite the team and the fan. As you rightly mentioned, Central Parade now one team will get huge fan base, and I should say with the league going on play for all this time and waiting people here, the kind of preparation we will make people don't begin get zeal back for go support Central Parade. I want for assure you say we don't assemble a squad of approximately about 60-65 players, from which I assure you say we will get very, very fine 30 players we will come and compete at this league and compete in a manner for make sure say we show people what is Central Parade plan do and beyond what in them plan do, because this is a new beginning at Central Parade. What you fans they expect now, what you say we expect from them. Now reciprocal thing, like respect. If you respect me, then I respect you. Now give and take. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. We ready for can give the fans a lot of things so them will be happy about. When once we play fine, when once we win matches, we fans them will be happy. But for ourselves able to do this, we want physical, we want financial, we want.
The Director of Competitions at the Sierra Leone Football Association, Sori Ibrahim Cissé, has briefed sport journalists on Sierra Leone's international competitions. According to Sori Ibrahim Cissé, Sierra Leone will start with their first international football fixtures on the 21st of March 2019 against Cameroon in the Under-23 football qualifiers. He explains more to AYV Sports.
Just to inform you that in 2018, we successfully engaged the Under-23 Olympic qualifiers, which gets underway on the 21st of March 2019. The first leg, we have been built to play against the Lions Club of Cameroon, and the first leg will take place in Yaoundé on the 21st of March, and the return fixture will be played in Freetown a week later. That's for the Olympic qualifier, and the winner of that tie play the winner between Mauritania and Guinea, and that's the final winner will automatically qualify for 2020 finals. And mind you, the Olympic qualifier that will be hosted in Egypt for 2020 will also serve as the final qualifier for the 2020 Olympics. That besides, before the end of 2018, with the instruction of the General Secretary from the Executive Committee, we successfully engaged the CHAN team, that is for players playing exclusively in the home league. And CAF has accepted our engagement, and we are one of the countries that will participate in this year's CHAN qualifiers. So that has been done already, and we now await CAF to establish the fixture very soon. We'll communicate that to you as journalists or members of the Fourth Estate immediately we get those corresponding from CAF. We also intend to take part in the 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifier. Yet CAF and FIFA are yet to send those engagements, and of course.
Well, this is where we end Primetime News tonight. Keep sending us your thoughts via email to info@ayvnews.com. You can also connect with us online at www.ayvnews.com or download the AYV mobile app from your app store. My name is Tholoma Sumah. Many thanks for watching and listening.
You're watching AYV Television.